Okay, for problem 8, use a definition of derivative to find the first derivative of the following function. So fx is 1 over 5 minus 3x. Okay, so if the question didn't ask you to use a definition, when you want to get the derivative, you can just differentiate it using, all the methods that we're familiar with, right? For example, here, you're just differentiating 5 minus 3x to the power of -1. So use a chain rule, so it's -1 times 5 minus 3x to the power of -2 times -3. Okay, so it is 3, 5 minus 3x squared. Okay, if the question didn't ask you to use a definition, you can just differentiate the function like this, right, as you usually do. But now we can't do this here because this is correct, but it's wrong in problem 8 because problem 8 specifically asks us to use a definition. Okay, then how do you use a definition to get the derivative? What's the definition of f prime x? Okay, it's going to be the limit of h approaching 0, fx plus h minus fx over x plus h minus x, right, which is over h. Okay, so this question is, what's fx plus h? It's 1 over 5 minus 3 x plus h minus 1 over 5 minus 3x, okay, over h. Don't forget about the limit. Okay, then just do it. So it's 1 over h times, here is 5 minus 3x minus 3h times 5 minus 3x. Okay, and the top is 5 minus 3x minus 5 minus 3x minus 3h. Okay. So here the top is just 1 over h. The top is 3h. Right? The bottom is still the same. Okay, now you can see the top and bottom, because you both have h, these can be canceled out. Right? And after they are canceled out, it is just 3 over 5 minus 3x minus 3h times 5 minus 3x. Okay, now you can just do the substitution. Now h is 0. Okay, so it's just 3 over 5 minus 3x squared. Okay, you can see it's the same as how you do the differentiation normally. And of course, it will give you the same result if you've done everything correctly. Okay, and the second part. The second part, gx is square root of x squared plus 3. Okay, so again, the limit h is approaching 0, gx plus h minus gx over h. Okay, gx plus h is just square root of x plus h squared, right, plus 3 minus square root of x squared plus 3 over square root over h. Okay. Then because the top, it's a square root minus a square root, so you can do the rationalization, which is you use the square root minus times the square root plus, right? So square root minus square root times square root plus square root. Okay, so we skipped one step. Of course, you can first try the substitution, right? But here it's 0 when h is 0. So the top, you can see the same thing minus the same thing, it will be 0. The bottom is 0, right? So it will be a 0 over 0. You can't make any conclusion there. That's why we do all this rationalization. Plus square root of x squared plus 3. H times square root of x plus h squared plus 3 plus square root of x squared plus 3. Okay, so now the top, it's going to be a minus b, right? A minus b times a plus b. So the result is a squared minus b squared. So a squared is h plus x plus h plus square plus 3 minus b squared. Right? B squared is just x squared plus 3. Okay, over the bottom, h times the square root plus the square root. Okay, so you can see now the top. Right? If you open this square, it's 8x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Right? So you can see this part minus x squared, it will be 0. This right here, it's plus 3 minus 3, it will be 0. So in the end, the top is just 2xh plus h squared over h. Okay, here you can skip it, just square root plus square root. You just copy it down. Okay, so you can see now you have a common factor, h. Right, so the top is just 2x plus h. Now the bottom is square root plus square root. Okay, then when h is 0, right, so you can see now you can do the substitution. When h is 0, the top is 2x. The bottom, when h is 0, is just x plus 0 square. Right, so it's just x squared plus 3 square root and 2. Okay, so it's just x over square root of x squared plus 3. Okay, let's differentiate gx normally to see if what we did was correct. So just differentiate it. First, it will be the chain rule. It will be half times 1 over square root of x squared plus 3. And then x squared plus 3, you differentiate it, it will be 2x. Right? So it's just x square root of x squared plus 3. So you can see they are the same. Right? Of course, they should be the same if you have done everything correctly. So this is what you usually do if the question didn't mention anything about using the definition of derivative. Okay, this is what you have to do if the question asks you to use a definition.